There was a few questions in the multiple choice that I hadn't even seen before.
Right, so I guess the first thing I need to do for getting ready to be on the road is probably booking and finding out how to research and prepare for my theory test, since that's the first test I'm gonna take, and it's the one that I need to go and do my practical test. I best get looking and see what I've got to do. I've got my notepad, got my laptop, so I'm going to research everything, see what's what, see where the best bits are, see any tips and tricks I can find, and yeah, that's about it. And spend some time on this because it's a pretty important thing. So let's go. Right, let's think. First thing to search, we'll go for how to book my theory test.
I managed to book my theory test for 2 weeks after my birthday through the DVSA website, as just seen on the screen. It took me about 5 minutes and cost me around about £30. Very, very easy and very smooth sailing.
Right, so I guess that's the easy bit. I've booked my theory test. Now, how should I prepare myself for this? So let's give that a quick search. How to... Ooh, looks like DVSA have their own little booklet. I tell you what, the easiest way for out and about that I could do this would be on my phone. Let me search to see if there's any apps that I can get. It looks like there's 4 different ones to choose from. There's Driving Theory Test 4-in-1 kit. That looks good. The official DVSA Theory Test kit. That also looks good. The AA do one, and James May does one. I think I'm going to pick the official DVSA one just because I feel like that's the most trusted one, and it's easy to go out and about. If I'm on the train commuting, I can jump on the app, do a bit of revision and get ready for my test, because I do not want to fail this. So I think I'm going to get the official DVSA theory test. So that's about it for theory test. But what are the most common misconceptions about the theory test? Because I don't want to be leading myself down the wrong track.
A little bit more about the DVSA app. Obviously it's the official app from DVSA, that's why I chose it. It will give you loads of different ways of learning. I think my favourite is to go through the mock tests and do a 50 question mock test and then do some hazard perception after. It includes all of the 700 different questions that could be thrown in there, and the up to 40 I think it is hazard perception videos that are thrown in there, and you can pretty much just do a whole theory test sat at home and you can test to see how good you are. That's why I chose it, and I think it's a brilliant way of learning.
Top 10 most commonly failed driving theory test questions. Here we go, let's have a look at this. Understanding road signs, right. Road signs. I best get learning those. Recognising traffic lights signals. Yellow, green, red, right? Or maybe I need to have a little more practice on that. Calculating stopping distances. I guess not every corner on the road is a chicane. So going from on the racetrack where you brake as late as you can and hope you can make the corner, probably should get that out of my mind for if I'm going to be driving on the road. I guess we're not all Daniel Ricciardo, the best on the brakes, so probably should put that into consideration. Weather conditions. Well, I do love a wet race, but it does make it pretty slippery, so probably should also consider this for on the road as well. Overtaking rules. probably learn when you can and can't overtake. Since again, on the racetrack, you overtake whenever you can. So I guess that's probably not what we should be doing on the road. So another thing, this is really stacking up to be, don't be a racing driver on the road. I'm gonna have to get all of these bad habits out of my head.
So it is day of my theory test. Currently just picking up some L plates, but it's really exciting day. I've been doing a lot of revision and all sorts of bits and pieces, but yeah, I think it's final bits of revision in the car. I'll talk you through it a little bit more whilst I'm in the car on the way there, but no, it's a really exciting day and I can't wait to get it on. So a little bit about the theory test. So I believe you can book the test up to 3 months before you turn 17. So I'd recommend doing that because then you can get it quite close to your birthday. I was a little bit late. I booked it about 2 weeks before my 17th birthday. That meant that it's now about 2 weeks after me turning 17 that I'm now sitting the test. But to be honest, compared to the practical driving licence test, the theory test is a lot shorter of a wait. It cost £23. I'm not 100% sure on the exact amount of the theory test, but I think it was around about £30. It's like quite a small amount. It's not that bad. Once you then book the test, you can also pay for the DVSA app. You can do all your revision on. There's a perception built into it that not a lot of the others do. That was just really good. And then the actual test itself, that you can do hundreds of times on these apps, is a 50 question long test that goes on for 57 minutes. You have to get 43 of those 50 questions correct to get past. And then when you get to the hazard perception, it's 14 videos, CGI videos of driving down a road, and there'll be a development of a hazard, and you have to detect when the hazard's going to come about. And then once it's developed, you click it again just to make sure that you've clicked when the hazard's been developing, so you score some marks. There's 75 marks available and you have to get 44 marks to pass the hazard perception. So the tolerance on the hazard perception's quite a bit lower than it is the actual question and answer theory test, but it's equally just as hard, so it definitely needs a lot of revision. But no, as long as you do the revision, it should, fingers crossed, I'm about to find out, you should be able to pass. But that's why I'm on my way to go and do that. So as I walk into the test centre, I thought I'd take a bit of time to just tell you about my experience of the DVSA test, theory test. So first of all, I walked in there, waited about 10 minutes and I was seated. The test was fairly, don't want to say easy, but if I was well prepared as I was, I knew where to look out for and where not to. A few of the questions I hadn't seen before, but the majority I had done days and days before, as I'd done the apps to revise. So all in all, if I'd done the revision, it actually wasn't too bad. I was given my result about 10 minutes after doing the test, and we're about to see what I got.
So you passed.
Hold it in, but I can't really. I passed. Did well.
You what?
I passed. I
Well
managed
done.
to do it. On the multiple choice, out of 50, I got 48. So I could have
good.
I could have got 2 more. And then the hazard perception, out of 75, I got 69. So also pretty good. No, that's really good. To be honest, there was a few questions in the multiple choice that I hadn't even seen before, but I'm very happy with that. And so I guess that shows that the revision did actually work.